Think about the fact that everything is energy. I know everyone's heard that before, but look at it in this way. A tree is alive, and we know that. And I'm looking at a tree in my parents' yard that has a big hole in the side from a lightning bolt striking it. Now, the tree was alive, and the lightning bolt, most people would say, isn't alive. But I would have to beg to differ, because the lightning bolt is probably 1,000 times more alive than the tree. Although they're all equally here in existence, just like you and I are here in existence. I mean, our cells and our bodies and our nerve endings, they fire off basically a little electrodes, so they're basically electric too. They're just a mini little version of a lightning bolt. So because that lightning doesn't have a body or a consciousness, or I can't say it doesn't have a consciousness, but because it doesn't have a body or a face, we can call it, besides lightning bolt, I would have to say that we are a combination of lightning and water and fire and earth. And of course we all know that, just in the old Buddhist and all those ancient practices and all those ancient teachings, they do say stuff like that. But just the idea that the lightning just pulses from the sky, I could tell you what deep down I would say no, but I'd have to say what my opinion of where lightning comes from and what it does. But someone would have to ask, and I wouldn't want to put that right out there. I think I already have something I recorded about it, but it's too deep for many people to get into. So sometimes the things that have been happening to me, I have to dumb down, and after a while of dumbing it down, I almost come back to just being a human being. But then I know I've been to those places, so I can't let go of them. So now, because I've experienced the beginning of time, or the beginning of existence, because time is what we call things, I don't know what I'm supposed to do when people around me just don't want to hear the information that I have. If I do, and if they want to hear it, it's more like in the aspect of, oh, that's entertaining, that's sort of cool way to look at things, but it's not just the way I'm looking at things. It's the way I've experienced things as oneness, as all of us together, and all the things we see and all the things we don't see together. I've experienced it as that. So it's not just an idea or a cool, interpretation of something. It's what it is. And I don't know how I'm supposed to lessen myself to say, just because no one else has experienced that I'm wrong, or they're not going to get it, or I'm supposed to let it go, because I can't. If I could just go back to being a normal person, I guess I would have to erase the experience that I had in order to say that I want to, because I don't want to. But sometimes the way that I'm feeling a little excluded from just about everybody else I see, sometimes I want to go back to not knowing all this stuff or not being part of it, because it's not accepted. People are so disillusioned by what's going on around them. Like it's wintertime and the snow is falling and we're cold, and there's crime going on here and there's problems going on there, and everyone's got to work and family things and blah, 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 blah. But those things are so minimal. There is something so much bigger. This is just this one lifetime. And I mean, I'm very confident in saying this, that we've all lived many, many, many lifetimes. Sometimes as humans, sometimes as other entities, sometimes as particles, sometimes as whatever. But we just move and grow and move and grow. And when we're lucky enough to have a consciousness that can relay messages and communicate with others in a way like this, we think it's like the higher intelligence. But the lightning and the things it strikes and the trees and the ground have a much better communication, a line of communication, whether they say it out loud that we can understand or not, because they seem to work together in harmony, and we all seem to either not get along think that war and violence is acceptable, or, you know, there's nothing we can do about it, or we don't even get along with each other. I see people every day, and I want to say, hey, how you doing? How's your life going? You know, but they're just so distant. You can't walk up to a stranger, or even somebody an acquaintance, you know, like someone you are acquainted with. It's hard to talk to anybody about anything that's deep, because people don't go deep. And I'm just saying that from personal experience, because around me in my life, where I'm at, in Waterford, Pennsylvania, nobody is deep. No matter where I go, they might think they're deep, but it's a surface level deep. It's not a spiritual deep, it's a physical deep, which isn't anything in comparison. So I want to find some people that have had similar experiences, and that really know what they're talking about, that really have seen the other side, or seen the whole, not even the other side, because the whole is all of us. It's everything that's going on. It's all sides. It's the all-sided thing. It's not 360. It's like 1080 times a billion. You know, it's the infinite source of all. It's from vanished blank space to, you know, that mega sun, whatever it's called. It's like 100 times bigger than the sun. I don't know what it's called, but it's everything from that to that, and it's all of those things. I just wish that I could talk to some people who are open-minded and don't judge me, because, you know, I didn't ask for it, but at the same time I did. I asked for answers, and I asked to know what everything's about, but I was not expecting that. And like, if I was, like I said, if I see all these things about people taking DMT and ayahuasca and all that kind of stuff, and I've experienced entities and all that kind of stuff, and that's almost like child's play. It means nothing. It means nothing. Ooh, you saw some dancing trolls. Yes, everyone knows that there's more out there than the eye can see. So taking some substance and saying reality is more than we think it is, well, guess what? You altered your reality. So by adding a substance to you and saying that reality is different than you think is just a fucking asinine thing to say. Because, of course, it's going to be different when you add a substance to you. Your reality is different when you eat a hamburger and when you eat a piece of lettuce. There's different reality from everything. Every moment is another reality. Every choice you make is another reality. So those things don't matter. I would do them to see what they're like, but I already know that I don't need that in order to know what everything is. I've experienced them without having to do those things, because I realize, and this sounds really silly, because when you say I am, you know, DMT, or I am a tree, it sounds really silly. You almost, whenever I would have heard that kind of stuff when I was younger, I would have thought, like, you know, some weird, you know, Chinese or Japanese or old, you know, Buddhist, you know, writings. I am a tree. We are a tree. You know, it doesn't make any sense, but it does make complete sense now, because I've been a tree, and I've experienced what it's like to live for, you know, 600 years just planted in the ground. But I did it in an instant, and it's hard to explain, because time and space mean nothing, especially when you, at times, can almost bend it and not even be here, but you're totally here at the same time. I had to go off for a second because I just have so many things going through my mind. It's a Saturday night. I'm off. I'm wide awake. I tried to hang out and meet with somebody that I really care about. I care about everybody, but I really care about this person. She's really nice. But she was out drinking at a bar and ended up staying out late and didn't answer me back. I drove to her house and she wasn't there, so I drove all the way back. And halfway on the way back, she texts me and says, "Come pick me up." And I'm like, I'm not doing that. You know, like, I even said, if you know, I must not be nothing spectacular enough to make plans for. And then I said, LOL. That's sarcasm, by the way, because I am worth that. I can never downgrade myself to say I'm not worth somebody's time. I'm worth everybody and anybody's time. I'm worth all time, just like everybody else is. I would give anybody the time of day if they needed someone to vent to, if they wanted to talk, if they wanted to whatever. Approach me. I'm totally approachable. So, like, I just can't lessen myself to silly little things like fads, trends, even, you know, modern entertainment and stuff like that, it's so little compared to what is going on in my brain 24/7, especially when I focus in on it. And when I say I want to teach people about it, and I want to at least show people what I mean by it, I know that I can. It's not going to be something I can do instantly, but people don't have the patience to do anything. Everybody wants now. But learning and understanding spirituality and who you are and what we all are takes a lot more than just a second. I mean, you can get sort of the idea. There's this one point in time where, boom, it all makes sense. But it doesn't just happen the first second. And if it does, you're lucky. If most of the time it takes years and years and years. And I feel lucky because I've only been meditating and all that stuff for maybe 7-8 years. But the stuff that has happened within the last 6 or 7 months, it was September and it's January now. So September, October, November, December, January. It's only been 4 months. Like I said, I've been doing things that seem like I've been gone for like a lifetime, and then I come back and it's only like an hour. There's times when I close my eyes for 10 minutes and I feel like I'm gone for 5 months. And I come back and I'm like, whoa, I gotta work. I'm a dad. I'm a son. You know what I mean? So I feel like I just have to come back to that. And I never want to downgrade anything I'm saying, and I say that a lot, but it's because I do cherish the things that are here because I value everything in life. This is the physical experience. But the astral and the spiritual and all that kind of, those experiences, cosmic experiences, those are real too. And when you die, if you don't understand about them, you're going to be totally confused, totally scared, and just so ready and prepared to come back to this. Because you won't accept something so monumental when you never opened yourself up to it. Because your mind and your spirit are the same, and I'm sure that I can't detach myself and know what I thought as this part of spirit in the last body. Say, maybe I got to this point before or something. I know I haven't, but I mean, say I started feeling spirituality and starting to understand it. I thought, oh, next lifetime I'm going to remember this. But you just aren't allowed. You aren't allowed. You can eventually remember it by study and by knowing yourself, by figuring yourself out. But you're not going to be a baby born remembering that you were once a 90-year-old man or a 30-year-old person, soldier who died in battle or something. You're not going to remember that until later on. And then you're going to think that it's just some kind of flashback or some kind of thought from something you saw in a movie or something like that. But it's not. I mean, it could be if you just have like nightmares or something like that. But when you do the spiritual thing, you understand what I'm saying. You feel it, you know it, you smell it, you're there, you are it. Like, there's times where I've felt like I experienced a war scene or a war battle, and I was all participants at all times. I was the trees around the battlefield. I was the ground, the dirt, the everything. There was the sound and the smells and the blood and the cells. It was just horrible but beautiful because it was just me watching me, not understanding the rest of me. Just like a person doesn't understand their cells, like the earth doesn't understand its individual pieces of people and items and living creatures on it, but it's just doing the best it can with what it has, like we do, like on our body, like once you realize that you can do something with your body, you do things with it. So when things start going wrong, like the earth's cause and effect reaction, its way of taking care of itself are the disasters, the natural disasters, the earthquakes, the shiftings, the tidal waves, tsunamis, the rain, the weather, the snow. That kind of stuff is to preserve things, to eliminate things, to get rid of toxins to itself. It's like the earthly body, and then there's our human body, and then there's the universal body, which we're all just one thing. We're one thing, but we see ourselves as individuals. I understand that we're individual at the same time, but we're still all one thing. So when you're killing each other or hurting each other, robbing each other, just doing bad things to each other, you're just hurting you. And someday people will get that, and I truly hope they do. I love you.